Hi guys, it's Kay Comer in here with you, and I've got this book ready to video finally, so we're going to set it up like we do a lot of the old grandma books. And this is a semi-grandma book, meaning that it's made to look like it was found in an old cabin decades and decades ago and left there by grandma, but it has some other things in it too, some other readings and things, and you'll see that as we go through. So let's just pretend we're walking through the woods. And it's a nice fall day, and we're seeing off in the distance, we see this old cabin. So we make our way toward the cabin, and we step up on the porch. And it's an old creaky porch, and you can tell that it was a home, a very loved home decades ago, but now it's deserted after all the years. And so you open the door, nobody lives there anymore, so you open the door and look in, and it's an old living room, and across the living room you see this old rocker. And you know that's an old grandma rocker. An old grandma had sat there at some time. So beside the rocker is a stack of old books. And that stack of books is what we're calling our grandma books. And that's the big books that I make. And I try to make them to look as authentic as I can. Just like you would walk into an old cabin like that and see a rocker across the room and see a stack of books that grandma had maybe made or collected or whatever over the years. And that would be a grandma from about, we're saying 1942, because I have her diary in here too, and I have one page for each month of the year 1942, a page that grandma wrote just about their day, her and grandpa on the farm and what all they had been doing. And so let's just open our book here and go inside. This is an old quilt. I bought this quilt at a flea market just a few weeks ago, and it was $10. It was a pretty raggedy old quilt, but I just knew I could do something with it because of the colors and all that. So this is the back. See, I'm already getting out of focus. I'm going to have to get a tall tripod. I will get over there and do that. But this is just an old quilt, and I just cut it out, and then I stitched around the edges, hand-stitched. 2 or 3 people have said they wish they could sew. They love my books. Well, my books are not sewn on the machine. I don't even own a sewing machine and wouldn't know what to do with it if I did. So I just do a little bit of hand-stitching, and I don't even know how to sew by hand. But I do like the way people kind of do this crude stitching around their pages and things. Now, I can do crude and make it look okay. But anyway, that's what this quilt is, and this is just coffee dyed, just like everything. Everything is coffee dyed and baked in the oven. So this is just an old crocheted doily, and I stretched it to have the points down. Here's paper flower, some creepy cloth, and a big old really weird button. Gosh, I don't know if I should say this or not, but here I go. I've already started. I bought 45 pounds of buttons a while back on eBay. And I mean, I'm telling you, I've been in button heaven. I love buttons. I've collected buttons all my life anyway, or all my married life, and 52 years, going on 52 years. So I had tons and tons of buttons, but oh my goodness, I was so happy to get those buttons, and they are so old. Some of those buttons are they just look like they're 100 or more years old. Okay, so we've opened the book while I was jabbering. And this is the first envelope, and this is just made out of a book page. And on the front's just some paper. That's paper from Hobby Lobby. I love that pattern, and I just distressed it really heavy. Aged it. Put a pin up here, a little piece of lace here, some creepy cloth, a paper flower. I just cut that heart, put that up there. Got a paper clip here and another heart on the back. Let's open it up and see what's inside. I haven't had this book opened in a while because I've been working on other pages toward the back, so I'll be as surprised as you will. This says, I want to inspire people. I want someone to look at me someday and say, because of you, I didn't give up. Now, would that be a wonderful thing or what? I'd like to make a difference. The Lord, God has given me a place on earth to be here for a while, and I hope that as I'm passing through, I'll make somebody smile. And it just goes on and on. I've used that in many books, and I love that. This is just a poem about pansies. Is there a flower that is more grandma than a pansy? I love pansies. Pansies, thoughts of thee. Just another little poem. This is a book of old country churches, and I just put that in there because most old grandmas and great-grandmas, you know, grandmas today seem a little bit more modern. They're still wearing the brand name clothes and all the jewelry and all that stuff, different from grandmas of 1942. I dress like a grandma of 1942 now. But I'm not a fancy person. Don't want to be a fancy person. But grandmas, I think, were more into their churches and their church work and praying and faith and, the prayer rooms like on the, what was that movie, The War Room? I loved that movie, oh my goodness, and that old grandma that prayed. But I just thought, Grandma would have some Bible stuff around in her scrapbooks and some old country church stuff. So it's nothing like the country church books that we sell individually. But it's got some old country churches in it. Now, I'm just going to lay that aside right now because so we can keep on going. This is some fabric from Hobby Lobby. I do like that fabric, and I use an awful lot of it in my darker books, and I lean toward dark. I like the dark. A little tiny pin here with a pearl and a bell. An old flower down here and some creepy cloth, and there's another pansy poem. There's a doily, crochet doily back there, and some more creepy cloth and tiny flowers. Over here it says memories, and there's a safety pin with a little bitty heart. That just came in a box of charms. I bought it at a yard sale, 2 or 3 years ago. Another paper flower, some buttons. It says home. This is just an image of an old porch. It looks like an old grandma porch. Can't you just look at that porch and see her sitting in a swing down at the end of the porch maybe? And can you smell maybe chicken and dumplings on the stove? Or, oh my goodness gracious. Let's see. Oh, this book is so full. This isn't going to be easy. Okay, this is, let's see here. I hate to take these off because I'll forget where I had them. I've got so much this time. It says, listen to your heart. And this is just some bunnies. This is, I guess we'd call the bunny book. And this is an envelope, and I have no clue what's in there because it's been so long since I put this together. So let's just take a look. We'll learn together. Oh, this is just a bunch of little quotes and sayings and things. All things bright and beautiful, all things, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all. I'm going to have a little bit of hard time reading this because I'm, I do the holistic health and the home remedies and all that stuff, and I've done that for 47, 48, 49 years now. And I'm doing a new remedy on my eyes, and I forgot I had to do the video, and I've treated my eyes, and now they're blurry. So, but I'm hoping it's going to, in the long run, it's going to help. The poem I love to sit in silence. I love to sit in silence and beneath the shady trees and listen to the song of birds and to the buzz of bees. Love that poem. And this is the sit beside the fire. I love to sit with I sit beside the fire and think of all that I have seen, of meadow flowers and butterflies in summers that have been, and that goes on and on and on. This says, I worried. I am a worrier. Boy, if there was a professional worrier anywhere, that would be me. I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right directions? Will the earth turn as it was taught? Or if not, how shall I correct it? Now, that's me. I worry about every little thing. Oh, if one ant crawls across the porch, I'll think, lonely ant. Oh, my goodness, I wish there was another ant could crawl with that ant. Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is passing you down a bit, rest of you must, but don't you quit. I love that. Used to have that on the refrigerator when the kids were growing up, and when they get to teenage years, they think everything is wrong. The world is about to end. Oh my gosh, and a relationship has ended, or they don't know whether to start this one or not, and it's just something constantly. And somebody wore a prettier blouse at school than me, I don't know. So I would take them to the refrigerator and I'd say, we'd read this together. I'd say, go read this with me. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and when that road you're trudging seems all uphill. And they'd start to laugh and everything would be okay. You can, this says. If you think you're beaten, you are. And if you think you dare not, you don't. And if you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. And that one goes on and on. They all go on and on and on. Kind of like Jenny Miller's little places she puts in her books. I love her videos. She puts things in her books. Little places for your journaling needs, she says. And it may be just a little bitty place like this, if that big. And she'll say, this is for all your journaling needs. Okay, it says, good hours. I had for my winter evening walk, not one at all with whom to talk, but I had the cottages in a row, up to their shining eyes in snow. I love stuff like that. Now, I like stuff that rhymes, but I like stuff that kind of tells a story, and you can almost just picture yourself in that situation. This says quaint. Quaint is a small wooden cottage filled with snuggly nooks, a tablecloth your grandma sewed, dusty and well-loved books. And that one goes on and on. So we'll put those back in there in a minute because I don't want to mess them up putting them in. I want them to be nice and, we'll see what's here. Okay, we got up here, we got, this is just a piece of tissue. I like aged tissue paper, just tissue paper like you would wrap or put in a gift bag before you stuff it. So I just put a piece of tissue paper down there, and this is just some more fabric, just layered and layered and layered, and some burlap and an old button. See that old, whoopsie daisy, see that old button? Oh my gosh, and I've just got dozens and dozens of old buttons like that. Chickens. Love, love, love chickens. I'm going to tear this place up here. It's not working. Okay, this is just a little bunny rabbit poem because everybody's saying, well, when you make the next book, would you be sure and put some bunny rabbits in there? Would you be sure and put some inspirational quotes in there? So it's got bunny rabbits and inspirational quotes. Is that not the cutest bunny rabbit? Now that comes in a stamp. Also, I'm not good at stamps, so I'm learning to stamp and then tear my paper and put it, glue it, because that's another one there. I love that. And this little poem, what does this say? It says, I have a little bunny whose ears are soft as silk. His eyes are round as saucers, his coat as brown as chocolate milk. My bunny cannot talk to me, but only twitch his nose. I can tell when he is happy, as twitchity twitch he goes. That is so cute. Love that. I love the bunny stuff too, and I've collected bunnies since about 1996. But I don't collect fancy bunnies. I like the little book bunnies that look like storybook or something like that. You know, I just, let's see what we got here. This is made out of, see, there is so much stuff. It's going to be hard to show it all. Let me take this off. This paper bag, I put a little, it says I have a mustard seed and I'm not afraid to use it. There is this is a little envelope made out of a book page, and there is one mustard seed right there inside that envelope. I have a mustard seed and I'm not afraid to use it. And then there's a heart on the back, but I put one in there. This page and over here, it's just a sack. You know, I've seen them on Etsy, and I started to buy some one day, and I thought, well, they were a little bit high. To me, they were high because I'm a miser. You know, I'm 72, and we look at things a little bit different, that generation. A lot of us do. So I thought, I wonder if that's on Amazon. So I looked on Amazon, and I'll be switched. They had them, oh, gosh, 50 or 100 for just a fraction. So, of course, I got those. So this says, farm fresh eggs. And there's chickens all over the place and chicken stuff. Let's see. It says, slow down, you're on country time now. More chickens. There's a chicken silhouette. And let's see if we can open it. Oh my goodness. More chicken stuff. And another chicken silhouette. More chickens over here. It says, living the simple life. You know, the videos and even the pictures don't do these books justice because you just can't imagine, you know, until you see this book in person. And I don't mean that to sound, oh gosh, it sounded a little bad, didn't it? I don't mean that. I would say that no matter who made the book, because it does. I mean, I really work hard to make these books look authentically old. I just love old stuff. That's me. I'm an old soul. And this says, I know something good. Wouldn't this old world be better if the folks we meet would say, I know something good about you, and then they'd treat us just that way? Well, wouldn't it be fine and dandy for sure if each hand clasp warm and true carried with it this very assurance, I know something good about you? Wouldn't this life be a lot more happy and if the good that's in us all was the only thing about us that folks bothered to recall? And wouldn't life be a lot more happy if we paused the good that we see, if we praise the good that we see? For there's such a lot of goodness in the worst of you and me. And it says the rest of your life starts right here and right now. And what does this say? It says a book. Open a book. Open a book and you will find people and places of every kind. Open a book and you can be anything that you want to be. Open a book and you can share wondrous words you find in there. Open a book and I will too. You read to me and I'll read to you. See what this is. Surprise! A tribute to family. I don't know when it started or how it all began, but God created families as only our Lord can. And he was teaching what it means to love, honor, and obey, and he wanted a strong bond that we don't see much of today. And that's true. Oh, gosh, we won't even go there because we don't have time. But, gosh, this day, oh, if every town could be a Mayberry, I say that all the time. What a wonderful world it would be. The little elf. I met a little elf man once down where the lilies blow, and I asked him why he was so small and why he didn't grow, and he slightly frowned, and with his eyes he looked me through and through. I'm quite as big for me, he said, as you are big for you. Okay, we're going to put this aside, and I'll put these back in here in a minute. Now, they may be somewhere different when our friend gets this book because I won't remember where they were. Okay, this is just more chickens. This is on this pen. It's some more little pictures, a little girl reading a book, and on the back it's another little girl reading a book. And it says, when you read a good book, it's like traveling the world without ever leaving your chair. Oh, wow. And this is a kind of a secret tuck spot because it's the other end of that sack. So let's take this off. And this says, this is just a little, it's empty really. I'm not going to open it. It's just got some little stamps at the bottom of the pages, but it's just several pages for your journaling needs. It says, my secret thoughts up here. And there's really nothing, and no pictures or anything in there, just a little bit of stamping. And so we're going to put that. Well, let's do it. Let's put it here because I don't want to mess it up. And see, here's another envelope. Envelopes are everywhere. Inserts are everywhere in this book. Oh, my goodness gracious. Let's see what this says. This says, keep a poem in your pocket. Keep a poem in your pocket and a picture in your head, and you'll never feel lonely at night when you're in bed. Is that cute or what? I love little poems and things, especially the old stuff, and I've been collecting that kind of stuff for, gosh, all of our married life. I bought my first poem. I've said this so many times. When I was about 10 years old, Daddy took us to the Quartet Convention at Memphis, Tennessee, Gospel Quartet Convention. And we was in a Stuckey's gift store, and I bought a little, I showed it one day in one of the videos, bought a little poem with a little baby on it, and that just got me started collecting poems and things, and I've been doing it ever since, and I'm 72, so I've got a lot of stuff. Okay, not. You're not your age, nor the size of the clothes you wear. You're not a weight or the color of your hair. You're not your name and the dimples in your cheeks. You're all the books you read and all the words you speak. Now, I'm not going to read all that because, my eyes, I'm having a hard time hearing. I got to get through the book. Okay, I look in the mirror and what do I see? A pair of eyes look back at me. A nose, 2 ears, 2 eyebrows, 2 lips and teeth. I say, I love you. I look in the mirror and what do I see? I look in the mirror and I see me. Oh, wow. Sometimes I'm kind of a plain Jane, and I don't look in the mirror unless I just have to for some reason. Let's see, I'll put this over here. Okay, now see, we just have lots of stuff right here. Let's see what we've got. Let's start in the back and put these back. And this is just an old image, an old house, an old tree. And on the back it said, trees, I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. And that goes on and on. You know, that's an old song. And this says, may tomorrow be a perfect day. May you find love and laughter along the way. And may God keep you in his loving care till he brings us together again. Donnie and Marie used to sing that little chorus at the end of their show, Donnie and Marie Osmond, years and years ago. I love that. I've always loved that. And I put that in a book every now and then. And then down here it says, and whatever you do the rest of the day and in the days to come, I hope you will spread a little kindness and get a little kindness absolutely everywhere you go. And it says, make every moment count. And then this up here just says precious memories. That's just part of the page there. It's just layered and layered and layered. Every page is layered and layered. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious, sacred scenes unfold. Okay, put that there. And, oh, your best. If you always try your best, then you'll never have to wonder about what you could have done if you'd summoned all your thunder. And that's a cute little quote. This is a little book of flower seed. Grandma maybe had been looking through them to get the seed. Let me see that. That's probably nobody. No, it's not, and we don't answer phone numbers we don't know, so we're just going to let it ring. Oh, and then the machine's going to pick up. Hang on. Okay, I have a crazy message on there telling them they're wasting their time. We don't answer phone numbers we don't know. Okay, this is Love One Another. This is, I'm pretty sure, a kindness rock. Let me move this back if I can a little bit. This is an envelope made out of a book page again. And let me get this off of here. Okay, here we go. And I've got two little rocks in here. I put two, and the ones that I do put the rocks in there, one to have and one to give away. And it says, the Kindness Rock Project. One message at just the right time can change someone's entire day, outlook, or even their life. Take one and leave it along your journey for someone else to find, and then start this project in your own hometown, spreading love and kindness from Massac County, Illinois is what that says. That's just what I put because I leave these everywhere. And it's just a little rock. I put out hundreds of these. I mean, I have nursing homes and hospitals and doctors' offices and things call me and want me to put them in their rock garden, and I've painted these for 2 or 3 years now, and so anyway, they've got a couple of rocks there, and they can put them. They can keep one and give one away. Let's see here. Did I say at the beginning this book is sold? It was someone spoke for it, and I went ahead and let it go. She had been wanting a book forever. So this book is sold, and if I didn't say that up front, I am so sorry about that. I have another one already in the works, and we'll have it as soon as I can. But this book is sold to our friend Roz in Australia. Okay, so we'll put this in here. And we'll put this in here. And I'll put the other things up in a little bit. Okay, this is some more pansies. That's Sweet Annie out of our garden. I just dry that and use it throughout the year for different things. And that says Grandma's Bouquet up there, and I've just got some little pearls around it and some little tiny flowers. That's the, what is it? A Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. And I think they've got their sale going on this week, as a matter of fact. So I use those little flowers a lot. It says Time Flies. I love the old clocks. I have an old clock in almost every book. Probably have it in all the bigger books. This is from the Velveteen Rabbit, and I write the stories. Well, let me first tell you about this. This says real isn't how you're made, said the Skin Horse. It's a thing that happens to you when a child loves you for a long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real. But I saw that, and I really loved that little poem, and, you know, I write a story every day on on my Facebook page, almost every day. And so that just kind of tweaked something in me. And so I wrote about this poem on one day last week or week before. And so I just made a copy of that and put that in here. And so you've got a reading off my Facebook page, and I want to invite any of you that want to go to my Facebook page. It has some bunny pictures on at the top of the story, and then it's just you know, I'm not gonna. Well, let me see. It's just paper clips. Let me see what we got here. Okay, here we go. This is what it is. It's just, you can go to my Facebook page, send a friends request if you can't see and you want to see current things on there, because I do a story every day. It's inspirational, motivational, sometimes humorous, sometimes it's a real life story. You know, I have just all kind of things on there. But it says, this starts out saying, I'm not going to read very much of it at all. It says, according to this little poem below by the Velveteen Rabbit, real isn't how we're made. Real is a thing that happens to us over time. When we are loved, I mean truly loved, and over time, not just tolerated, but that's when we become real. Becoming real doesn't happen all at once. And it goes on and on and on. It just kind of explains the poem, and then I go into more detail down below. So I shouldn't even have started that because that took a little bit of extra time, but you know, maybe we won't get this even uploaded tonight. I'll see. I just have to see. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to this page, and this is, again, layers and layers of stuff. This is the kitchen poem. Everybody seems to love this poem, and I've even sent it to a few friends that requested it, and I've put it on my page so people could just copy and paste it. I couldn't find it on the internet for anybody to upload or download or whatever it is you do with it, because I got mine out of my stash from decades ago. I don't even know where I got it. So anyway, it's in the book, and on this side over here, there is an old kitchen scene and some buttons, and it says days gone by. Buttons down the side. This says precious memories, again, how they linger. Well, I had forgot I put that in there, but it's in there twice. Okay. I'll always remember the good old days, and that's really putting it mild. You can bet your boots I'll never forget things that happened when I was a child. When it was cold and stormy outside, the kitchen was a place to be. The oven door opened on the old wood stove. We were as cozy as we could be. A block of ice in the old ice box, a hand pump in the sink, doing homework by a kerosene lamp, and using a pen with a bottle of ink. I can remember when we used pens, then dipped them in ink. And we had an old water bucket that sat on the kitchen cabinet at the back door, at the kitchen door, and when we wanted a drink, we'd all just go get a drink using the same dipper in that bucket all day long. And it was, we lived in like a Walton's environment till I was 9. It was Mom and Daddy and my 2 sisters and myself and my dog Fluffy and Granny and Grandpa and my 2 uncles and 1 aunt. So, you know, we all just, it was a farm, you know, everybody, the men farmed and the women just did whatever the women did back in the 40s. Every time a new story is told, a fairy is born. And there's a big old rabbit. And let's see what this is. Oh, this is just an envelope, and I'm not going to take it all the way out and read. This is some bigger readings like Dirt Roads, The Paradox of Our Time, just all kinds of, there's quite a few readings in there. One, Remember the Good Old Days, you know, talking about when we played hopscotch and jump rope and all those things. It is a wonderful reading, and there's quite a few of those in there. So I'm not going to take that all the way out. And that's just an old tattered envelope. This is 29 gifts, and I just wanted to put that in there, and I think I'm going to start putting it in the book because it's just a good thing. This is not old, but I made it to look old. But it's a book that I bought several years ago called 29 Gifts and How a Month of Giving Can Change Your Life. So I read the book and just started doing what it says. I started at the first of the month, and I've done this every year now for 1 month out of every year since I read that book. And every day you do something different for somebody that you wouldn't normally do something for. And it can be as simple as write a letter to somebody that you haven't sent a letter or talked to in ages and ages, or take a piece of pie to a shut-in, or Just so many things. Give somebody a Kleenex or a cough drop or whatever, a church that's coughing, so many things. And there's things in here, there's ideas. Note of appreciation to the mail carrier for being out in all the weather. Write a thank you note to someone. Write a personal note of appreciation to your pastor. Call a nursing home and find a resident that's communicable and doesn't get visitors, and go visit them. Leave a good book in the hospital waiting room for others to read. So many things that really don't take any money. But I mean, the blessings that have just poured out from me doing that. I absolutely love to do that. And when I first started doing it, I would get toward the end of the day and I think, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I've got to do the 29 gifts, and I'm on day like 14. And then I would realize I've done 2 or 3 things that day for people that are not family. You're not supposed to do for your close family. But it's supposed to be for people out and about. And, help somebody carry their groceries to an older person. I say older person, and I'm 72, but I do that, help an older person to the car with their groceries, or, help them get in their car, or whatever. So many little things, but that's just a great, great thing. And so it's going to be in this book. So moving right along, we're almost there. This is the rabbit page that everybody's having a fit about on Facebook, and it's just little rabbits here and there. This says the bunny book here, and it's just got bunnies in it. Love. I'm not going to unsnap it because I've got to get this done and get it uploaded. Bunny love on the back. This says bunny love up here. And the little bunnies. See that huge big button? Let me show you another one of those buttons. Oh my gosh, that's just an rough button. And a burlap flower on it. Okay, and then that's the end of the book. This is the diary that I'm putting in there, and I cut it down. It has the same thing in it. I just cut the page down so it would fit in the book, and it's just going to tuck in there. And it's one day for each month of the year 1942. And I studied, I tore that undone. I studied old farm pages and Amish writings and things on the internet to kind of get an idea of how people talked back then. And because I wanted it to even sound like it was written in the 1940s. They did talk different back then. And anyway, it's a really interesting read. The whole thing is an interesting read. Here's February, March. She talks about the neighbors. Some new neighbors moved in, the old neighbors moved out. The Sunday socials and homecomings, and time to slaughter the cows and milk the cows and slaughter the hogs, and so many things. Let's see, what's something that would be kind of easy to read. This is October 31st, 1942. Dear Diary, we've come to one of my favorite holidays of the year, and that's Halloween. But sadly, there was no trick-or-treating of the little ones this Halloween. Sugar and sugary treats was rationed about April of this year because of the war, and we're told to expect that rationing to linger for a while. It's hard to read this, but if you're reading it quietly to yourself, it says down here, we did get to carve a jack-o'-lantern and set that out, but it seems so lonely on the porch steps without the little ones coming and going all around. It's time to be picking out an old Tom turkey. Thanksgiving will be here before we know it. How time flies. Well, good night, sweet diary, and I wish for sweet dreams for both of us. It always ends in, well, good night, sweet dear diary, or sweet diary, or whatever. It's so nice to be able to spend a few minutes with you in the evening, but I must go now to talk a bit with my Lord before I rest my weary bones. Winter is about to set in real good, so Pa has been busy getting this old farm ready for the long winter's nap. The old woolly worms and the squirrels are telling us it's going to be a long, hard winter. That's what they're telling us here in Heartland, in Southern Illinois. Let's hope they all got their wires crossed and turns out to be wrong. But whatever comes, I reckon we're as ready as we're going to be. We've got plenty of firewood stacked on the back porch for winter. It just goes on and on. It's what they did. And she talks about things that she's having for supper. And she took supper to a neighbor. And, I wrote it and I could sit down and read it over and over. Because this is just so me. I love stuff like this. Well, that's it. This book is, as I said, sold. I'll have another one in the works, and it's going to be comparable to this one. I'll try to have a couple of smaller ones right away, too, about maybe the $25 size. The problem is I get so carried away, and the books just kind of take on a mind of their own and a life of their own, and before you know it, I thought I was starting a $40 book or a $25 book, and I've got a huge, huge, huge book that there's no way I could sell for that. And then, after I sell the books, I keep working on it. And it's already been approved and sold. Now, how crazy is that? I'm just fanatical about these books. The thing of it is, I've bought quite a few books over the last few years just to have, because a couple of people I really like their stuff and all that. And I've spent some pretty good money on some books. But you will never get a book from me, I promise you this. And you'll never get a book from me and think, oh my stars, did I get ripped off or what? You will get the book and think, oh my stars, I should have paid her twice for the money I gave for this book. Because that's just me. I mean, and I don't mean that to sound goofy or snooty or anything at all. I am a giver, and it's nothing makes me happier than to know I've made somebody else happy. And if I can do something, send something to somebody that they don't even know is coming, and it's really something really, really special, that just tickles me to death. Okay, how long did we go? We're 36 minutes, I think, coming up on 37 minutes. I jabbered. I ran in circles. I was going to sit here and do this calmly tonight. It didn't happen. I don't know. I have one speed, and it's fast. I'm not real good at just kind of loafing around and, talking real sweet and trying to make me sound like something I'm not, because I'm a jabberbox. That's what I am. I'm very hyper, very laughy, a jabberbox. That's what I am. So anyway, how did we get off on that? Everything is down below. If you want to join my Facebook group for junk journals, it's Junk Journals from Grandma with Love. Just get on over there, click to join it, and we'll get you in as soon as I notice. I do sometimes forget to look. I'm not on the computer a whole lot. There's nothing on Facebook that interests me, and I just really don't have the time. I get on early in the morning to do my story and to check around, and we do a question of the day and things like that I've talked about. But sometimes I'll look and somebody's been waiting for 2 days to get in the group, and I think, oh my stars, I forgot to keep looking. But anyway, if you want on there, just click and I'll click in. I'll try to keep a closer eye on that. If you want on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, just send a friend's request if you can't see it. If you can see it and it's current, that's fine. And you can read all the stories. They just go on and on and on forever. And it's real homey, sweetsy stuff, or something that's really funny or goofy. So many people tell me they can't start the day till they read my stories. What a compliment. But some of the things I say, this is just for fun, to lift us up, because we all need a little bit of laughter in our life. So let's see, what else is there? I think that's it. I've got another book in the works already. I'm working on the book that I'm going to give as a gift. That's hopefully going to be out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. There's just not enough hours in the day. I get up between 3 and 4 every morning, and I don't sit down, relax and sit down until about 7 at night. It's about 7 at night when I get to sit down. But by the time I do the rocks and I do the books and I keep house and I cook from scratch, and I love to do that, and I keep up with Geezer, and, it's just not enough hours in the day. So that's it. Really, it's it. That's it this time. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for those that have joined the Facebook page. and even my personal page. And I hope you've subscribed to this channel. You never know what you're going to see on here. We're about to do the rocks pretty soon. I'd like to get more people involved in that. It is a worldwide thing, a worldwide movement, the Kindness Rock Project. You can type it in on Facebook and find all kinds of stuff. Our Facebook page is 618 Rocks, our local Facebook page, and I'm administrator over that. So it's just something nice to do. You leave a rock, you paint these rocks, and you take them and leave them out. And, you know, I said I was quitting, didn't I? We'll do the rocks another day. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience. And I love you all.